Thank you very much for coming. My name is Newman. I'm from International College Montreal. I used to teach in the university, in Hangzhou Technology University, where Jack Ma used to teach English before creating Alibaba. And I've been teaching there in teaching English and French. Right now, I'm the one who's responsible for the teaching in the college in Montreal. So tonight, I'd like to introduce you the PEQ program, or PEQ in French. Okay? This is actually a short term for experience program of Quebec. PEQ, right? So that's my first part of tonight's presentation. The second part is actually the primary and secondary education in Quebec. I just want to let you know that the best Canadian education is in Montreal. Yes, maybe you have not heard as much Montreal as Toronto or Vancouver. That's normal because Montreal is very low profile. But all Canadians know, we know, if you want to study, go to Montreal. If you want to find a good job, go to Toronto. If you want to retire in a very decent manner, go to Vancouver. So, I'd like to share with you in the second part for the fundamental education system in Quebec. Okay, so first of all, let's have a look of the province of Quebec. We call it in French, La Belle Province, which means the beautiful province. Okay? This is the largest province of Canada. The size is about 2.5 size of France. So it's actually very large. And it enjoys a continental climate. It's very dry. In winter, it's very dry. So there are people saying that in Hong Kong it feels like colder than in Montreal. Because it's very wet here. Okay? So, and in summer it's very nice. And we know that Canada is called a maple country. And the most beautiful maple trees are in Quebec. So in the golden autumn, if you go to Montreal, go to Quebec, you can see mountains and mountains of golden leaves of maple trees. Canada is famous for its welfare system, and Quebec is the best place for the welfare system within Canada Dominion, in the country. For example, as international students, they're still entitled to many social benefits. All the children under 18 years old in Quebec, they could enjoy 2 children benefits. One from Canadian federal government. The other one is from the Quebec government. So like if the parents, they have no income and they have 1 child. Okay, so each child will receive 12,000 Canadian dollars each year, which will cover much expense for the life and for the tuition fees if students go to study there. And lastly, which is very important for us, is Quebec has the easiest way of immigration. When I say easiest, it means it has no quota, which means if the candidate is qualified, then he's immigrated to Quebec. Unlike other provinces, even you're qualified, you need to respect the quota. Okay? For example, like 2,000 candidates last year to Ontario. So if you are the number 2001, sorry, you have to wait for next year because quota is used up. But Quebec never happens. If you qualified, you go. Okay? First of all, let's see the latest version of its requirements. So actually, we will see there are more sorts of diploma that is accessible to PEQ program. The same thing is we still have the requirement for the French, which I will explain how we do education of French in the last part. How we help our students to achieve 2B2 in listening and speaking respectively. Okay? Okay. That is the procedure. And we see that This program is mainly for candidates between 18 years old until 48. So the oldest students at our college right now was born in 1971. And according to our experience, which is very surprising, maybe surprising to all of you, is we have students older than 33 years old. Older than 33 years old. We have students very younger, okay, very young, maybe just graduated from high school. And the results, the fact is, students with some life experience, which is older than 33 years old, they achieve PEQ results much faster than the young students. Because discipline is much more important than memory. Yes, we have our ways to teach you, and you must learn in our ways. As you keep on, you get PEQ. If you don't keep on, or you just enjoy a wonderful life, sometimes you will lose, okay? For Hong Kong residents, the first step is very easy. You register for ETA, right? So, now you go to Montreal, we attend a language course from maybe 1 month or maybe 4 months, okay? Or any between 1 month to 4 months. This is a very short-term language course. Could be English, could be French. It's your option, okay? So, if you take French course, then you will study French at our college, right? So, when you finish this short-term French course, we could help you to apply for a study permit within Canada without returning to Hong Kong, just within Montreal. In Montreal, we could do that. As long as you have study permit, if the children goes with you, he or she is qualified to go to public school free of charge. Public school free of charge. No matter it's primary or secondary. Okay? It's free of charge. You don't have to pay. This is number 4. We have a study permit, which enables us to continue studying in the program that we registered. It could be a professional studies, okay? It could be a DEC, a DEC, Associate Bachelor, of course Bachelor, Master, or even PhD. They're registered in program, they have to come over to our place, continue studying French, and then they graduate, have their diploma or degree, and then they have 2 PEQ results in listening or speaking. So the whole process from 1 to 11, that will normally take 3 years. But before we become permanent resident, we begin to enjoy Canadian benefits. As I said, in step 4, children start to go to public school free of charge. When the students graduate from the program, the student will have a 3-year post-graduation work permit, which means they could work legally in Canada, which means during these 3 years, their children still go to public school free of charge, which means the whole family enjoys Quebec public Medicare system. Okay? So, that's the whole process for general picture. So the first one is called machining techniques. We could see these models. I know you may feel confused. You think it's too operational. Okay? Maybe you think maybe it's too hard. But the thing is, it's not hard because it needs you to maneuver over the machine instead of learning academic knowledge. And the teacher will show you the steps of the operation, and you follow the steps. And more importantly, we tend to arrange the whole class of ours to go to the single program together. For example, the students, the maximum 8 students in one class, the French class, in our place, and then these 8 students will probably go to the same program at the same time. So they have the same schedule, they have same schedule. They could help each other out during the studies. Alright? Sometimes you just give you some heads up, and you know what to do. So actually it's not that difficult. Because it's only one condition. Completed. Qualified. So the second program we would like to know is Automated Systems Electromechanics. I know it seems like a little bit too blue collar, but it's okay, because all our students will study together. Okay, so it may need you to operate over the machine, but actually you just press the button. Okay, do as the teachers do. Okay, why these programs are preferred? Because Quebec labor market really needs talent of manufacturing. Right now, they lack 140,000 workers. Really desire to have new immigrants to do this. That's why CAQ did their best to persuade people to do this by changing PEQ law. Okay, that's right. They really need people. Welding and fitting. Welding and fitting. I think I don't need to explain, but actually they have a very good salary. Okay? Installation and repair of telecommunication equipment. That is to install or maintain what is called telecommunication equipment for people to log on internet. You have to install it. I don't have to explain too much on that. So I just let you to see the average salary. Okay? This is remuneration is very great. Immigration Quebec also accept diplomas or degrees higher than professional studies. For example, like bachelor, like master, as I said. Now in Montreal, we have a very good network of universities. We have English universities. We have French universities. Okay, like McGill universities, which I will introduce to you in the second part, education. Concordia, of course, and the largest French university. The largest French university is not in France. It's in Montreal. Université de Montréal. Okay. We have UQAM. Okay. We have HEC Montréal, which is the top business school in Canada, in North America. Okay. So we could go to these universities. If you already speak French, we could choose French universities. If not, we could choose English-speaking universities. We could choose as many programs we want. And just like I said, we could choose associate bachelor's here. Okay, these are good ones to choose. If you like children, you could go for that for 3 years. Okay, children. We could also go for a bachelor's, but this is a little bit longer. You need to study for 4 years before graduating. For some high school graduates, they need higher education anyway. So why not just go to the best university in Canada? And also I have the qualification for future immigration to Quebec. So we have all this. Okay, this is just a general picture. Next, we have a master's. Okay, we have even PhDs. If you want to do research, yeah, that's qualified too. So you have many options. That's the part I just want to explain in detail is myself. I'm an English teacher and I'm also a French teacher. The thing I do in the college, I used to teach, but now I don't. I supervise all the teaching. I make sure that all the teachers teach in the same standards. I make sure that all students are autonomous, they're disciplined, they don't enjoy the wonderful life too much. Okay? So sometimes there are no good restaurant could be good. It's not too much time to be wasted. We have students in both sides. We have teachers from, we call it francophone enseignants, which is French teachers. They're from the universities, they're from high school. We have judges. We even have examiners. We even have examiners des fac. This is the standardized French test you will go to. And you go get 2B2 from this test. And this guy, this teacher, is the examiner. And he's only one of them. We will invite examiners to teach you in the classroom. Okay? We have Chinese origin teachers. They may give you very good advice how to study French as second language. Okay, because studying French as a child or as adult is totally different. Myself, I have 2 masters. My first master's is in Zhejiang University. I did translation studies. I translate from Chinese to English to French and then backwards. My second master's degree is at McGill University. I study in second language education. That's what I do. So I know to study as child and study as adult is totally different. Two opposite directions. So these teachers will just show you the task you have to finish before going to the classroom of these teachers. Okay, we have our manual, we have our textbooks, and this is our teacher mode. Just give you a general idea. We have enseignants chinois, we have Chinese teachers, and these teachers will give you all this. Okay, this is knowledge, this is knowledge. Okay, so I think you're very familiar with this when we study English as second language. Alright, you have all this vocabulary, grammar, syntax, etc. But these are not evaluated. These are not evaluated directly in the tests because these are evaluated. Expression, accuracy, varieties, and fluency. These are evaluated. So our job is to help students to go from here to there. We call it a transfer. In linguistic cognitive science, we call it a transfer. Okay? So how do we transfer? We need cooperation from students. And discipline is very important. The teachers will give you tasks, and you have to do according to teachers' requirement. For example, teacher will require students to memorize texts. We have 2 books with 72 texts, which could be calculated as over 1,000 sentences, French sentences, of course. These sentences or these texts should be memorized. How? Without looking at books. If you look at the books, that's not the right way. So do you have any idea how do I memorize this without looking at books? Yes, we listen to the audio. For example, I want you to do this. Lesson 1. Leçon 1. Écoutez l'enregistrement. Bonjour monsieur, comment allez-vous? Which means, hi, sir, how are you? Which means that. And you should not look at the text and memorize it. Bonjour monsieur, comment allez-vous? No. I want you to listen. Bonjour monsieur, comment allez-vous? And you repeat. Bonjour monsieur. What's the next? Sorry. Do it again. Comment allez-vous? Merci. Comment allez-vous? Bonjour monsieur, comment allez-vous? Bonjour monsieur, comment allez-vous? Bonjour monsieur, comment allez-vous? And if someone says, bonjour monsieur, comment allez-tu? Oh no, that's wrong. How do I know it's wrong? Because it's different from what I memorized. I want you to have this instinct. Instead of, oh, the grammar is wrong. I don't care. Okay? If you have grammatically wrong sentences in your examination, but the examiner understands what you're saying, that's still correct. As long as B2 level. If you want to move up to C1, not enough. But for B2, that's enough. If you know all the grammatically correct version of sentence, but you say it in a very hesitant manner, it's right, 100% right. But you speak it in very a pausy way, that's not acceptable. Alright? And you have to study French in the atmosphere of French. People around you, they probably speak French. They will speak to you, hi, bonjour. And you should have the courage to say, bonjour. And he begins to, Monsieur, comment allez-vous? Ça va bien? Qu'est-ce que vous voulez acheter? I'm sorry, I don't like English. No! No. You have to stop and go back. You have to say, pardon, je parle pas anglais. I don't speak English. Mais je commence à apprendre français. I just started learning French. Voulez-vous parler plus lentement? Could you speak slowly? More slowly? Don't worry, they will repeat it. They will be very, very, very pleased to hear you say that. Why? I don't speak Cantonese. But tomorrow I say to you, 你好啊，我學咗廣東話啊。You feel I'm very close, right? I try to. Now I can understand 70% of Cantonese. Last slide. As I said, I supervise all the teachers teach in the same quality and same standard. So we came out with an agreement how this 1,000 hours should be allocated. Actually, these are in 2 periods. The first one is 700 hours regular teaching, and 300 hours that will invite examiners to come over. These probably are the guys you will have during your exams. Okay? So, first of all, we have Chinese teachers to give you a regular teacher of knowledge. Only 35 and 350 hours, only knowledge. We help you to transfer to the competence, to the ability. So we have a listening practice. Listening is very, 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 very important. I start to learn Cantonese by understanding. Now I understand 70%. I will work on that more until I can understand all of them, and then I will imitate. That's the way. We have francophone enseignants, French teachers, who will give you some context, some tasks for you to do. And when you finish that, we have B2 level. Just trust me, you have B2 level. But we still need to be familiarized with the format of the test. So we have the listening, we have our own material. These are the questions you probably will have, or similar questions you probably will have during examination. After we pass the listening session, we move to the speaking, and we have the examiners help us, and our classroom will be divided in different episodes. For example, 8 students in one classroom in 3 hours, then I will divide the time for each student, and you will come one-on-one with examiners for 20 or 30 minutes. And you will have a mock-up test, which means like a simulated test, okay? And the examiner will tell you, I think you need to work on this. That's the right way to say things. Or maybe you should be better if you say this. Okay? And the class that you have here is probably you ask people how to go to the supermarket. And in the real test, you probably have questions how to go to a hotel. You don't make sentence when you need to. You have this sentence in your brain. When necessary, change one word. That's it. That's the emphasis. That's the emphasis we have in our mind. Don't look too much. Listen more. Okay? So that's for the PEQ program.